Hi there everybody, this is David, and today I want to talk about Square Enix, their 3-year plan, their financial results, what's going on with the company, and what we should probably expect in 2027 and beyond, because they just went through and they released their financials, and things are looking kind of topsy-turvy, but I do want to go over all of it with y'all, and that's definitely worth a sub as you come and you join a party and you level on up with me. Thank you so much for your sub, your like, and your brand new hype. It helps me out a ton. So we do know that they are on their 3-year plan. They started this plan back in 2024 after they ousted their old CEO who just put out game after game after game after game after game, and a lot of them weren't all that good. So they were like, you know what? We need to reboot our company, we need to reawaken ourselves, and we need to focus on a strategic shift from quantity to quality. And we just kind of want to see how that's going. Personally, I think it's going great because, you know, I don't need 10 mid games whenever I could get 2 or 3 like spectacular games. I'd much rather have that quality rather than that quantity. So they have 4 different things that they want to focus on in this plan. An aggressive multi-platform release, which we are seeing especially in regards to the Switch 2, where they are putting out Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Remake. They put out Brave the Default 2 on it. The remaster, unfortunately, that isn't being multi-platform, so they were like, yeah, we're gonna do everything multi-platform, but that one's exclusive. So yeah, we don't really know what's going on there. But they also said they wanted to consolidate their studio management, and they did that through layoffs and firings, which we all saw very publicly last year. Some of my good friends at Square were actually fired, and I'm really upset about it. Or I guess they were laid off, I suppose. I shouldn't say that they were fired when they were probably laid off. But anyway, so consolidated the studio management into Japan. They canceled underperforming projects, which we saw as well. We saw a lot of projects being canceled with that one article, and everybody's like, whoa, what's going on? You know, maybe they're gonna cancel Dragon Quest. Maybe they're gonna cancel Final Fantasy. And it's like, no, people, like, grow a brain. They're not canceling Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. They're canceling no-name games that no one's ever heard of, or really shitty mobile stuff, you know what I mean? And then their 4th pillar was efficiency tools, meaning AI, to kind of speed up their development process. They say that they want to avoid long waits between major new releases. We know that Yoshi P and a lot of other game developers out there have said, you know, hey, these games are taking way too freaking long, and whereas whenever we were kids, we got like 10 Final Fantasies in 10 years, they're getting like 1 Final Fantasy in 10 years, and yeah, it's a big difference, and it's really hard for, you know, someone to really latch onto a series or really grow to love a series if they're only exposed to 1 game in said series. So I completely get it, and I do think that they do need to speed up the development process, even if it also means to lower graphical fidelity. I personally feel like, you know, RPGs hit like a really nice sweet spot in like a PS2 era. I think that they were absolutely beautiful, but we still got a ton of RPGs. We got a ton of great games back then, and I just love the graphical style of the SNES games too. So, you know, anything like that is perfectly fine with me. I do not need ultra realism in my RPGs. I just need good gameplay, and I need fun. It says their current transitional plan. That's why these last 3 years, we haven't really seen a lot of like new stuff. We've just seen a lot of like remasters and remakes of stuff because they're in this current transitional phase. It says it's actively focused on foundational restructuring, smaller scale titles, and bringing classic IPs like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest to broader audiences, which they're obviously doing with the Dragon Quest remakes, with the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, you know, with things like that. So let's look at some of the actual facts that we have right here. It says that their operating income surges almost 35% despite a net sales decline. That's saying that they're really like tightening things up. It says the decline in net sales is due to reduced revenues from MMOs and games on smart devices like smart telephones and PC devices. However, operating income and profit did increase, supported by strong sales of new HD games. Yeah, so the stuff that I like and that you like is what is actually helping bolster this company. We're not seeing, you know, that it would be like, oh, it would be such a death knell imagine if it was like, yeah, the profits are up because of mobile gacha games. So we'd be like, oh my God, we're never going to get a good game again. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's not like that. The operating income is up because of HD games, and they specifically say like Final Fantasy Tactics, like Dragon Quest, and Dragon Quest 1, 2, 3, and 7 Reimagined. So it's saying that its net sales are down, the digital entertainment sales are down, but income itself and profit itself are up. So they're not selling as much, but they're making better use of what they are getting right here. It says they attributed this growth to steady sales of new titles and increased catalog sales titles compared to the previous fiscal years. And then it goes on to talk about it. It says, you know what, we don't really have much going on coming up in the future. It says, looking ahead, Square Enix forecasts a flat net sales for 2027 and a 10% decrease in operating volume in 2027 as well. And we know that they haven't really announced all that much stuff for 2027 because, again, they are focusing just on quality right now. And looking ahead at this year, we don't really know anything that's happening. Like, we have Adventures of Elliot, and that's pretty much it from Square Enix. So we don't know what is going on with them, and that's where they're saying, you know what, sales are kind of going to be flat. You know, we might get one more game from them. We don't really know. It says here that once March 2027 rolls around, that will be the end of their 3-year plan. That will be the end of their reboot, remaster, remake plan, and then they're going to start really culminating in a steady, consistent pipeline of major multi-platform AAA titles from key franchises. So let's take a little look-see, shall we, at with their key franchises. Let's start with Mana. Yikes. So, Visions of Mana came out, and I loved Visions of Mana. I thought it was absolutely freaking fantastic. Beautiful, a return to form, an action Mana game. It wasn't a gacha game. It wasn't a strategy game. It wasn't a dungeon crawler Mana game. It wasn't a haptics physics Mana game like we've seen before either. It was a great Mana game. And then they closed the studio down the very next day. Like, what a kick in the pants. So, I don't know what's going on with Mana. I'm like, yikes. I still hope that this is definitely a flagship series. It's been around since I was a little kid. I got Final Fantasy Adventure, which is the first Mana game on the Game Boy back in the day, so yeah. Speaking of things that I have no idea what's going on with, Kingdom Hearts. Yikes. Like, we know that 4 is in development. We saw those very, very small, grainy screenshots, and then nothing else. No trailer, no nothing. That's it. I'm thinking that Kingdom Hearts will be coming out sooner rather than later, since they were talking about AAA releases, and we do know that it is in development. Saga. Saga is still going strong. We got Saga Emerald Beyond and Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven in 2024. Last year in 2025, we got Saga Frontier 2 Remastered. So I feel like there's another Saga game in the works, hopefully maybe a Romancing Saga 3 Remastered to come soon, since Romancing Saga 2 really knocked it out of the park. Dragon Quest. We're really not going to know what's going on with Dragon Quest until Dragon Quest Day rolls around in a week or so, and believe me, I am waiting. I am waiting very impatiently for that. We know that the remakes are being worked on, the Zenith trilogy are being worked on. We know that 12 is being worked on. Yuji Horii even said that he's going to be talking about it during Dragon Quest Day, so we have nothing to worry about in regards to that. Same thing with Final Fantasy, nothing really to worry about here. We've been getting one Final Fantasy per year for the last couple of years. We got 16 back in 2023. We got Rebirth and Dawn Trail expansion from 14 in 2024. 2025 rolled around. We got that Magic the Gathering thing going on. We got Final Fantasy Tactics going on. So then this year, what have we gotten this year? Dissidia. Yeah, that's not exactly what I wanted. We're getting some ports on the Switch too. You know, we're getting the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we're getting Rebirth in June. We're getting Final Fantasy XIV ported on over the Switch too as well. So that might be it for Final Fantasy this year. It might be the year of the ports, and they're gonna be like, yeah, you got Dissidia. Yeah, isn't that great? Don't you love Dissidia? Yeah. Yeah, no. So something new would be nice, but they really do need to hype it up and they need to announce it. If they do Chrono Trigger, which Yuji Horii has kind of hinted at, I'll forgive them. You know, all will be well. That's my prediction. That's my prediction, because I feel like they have to have something for Christmas. You gotta have something to really take advantage of that Christmas buying holiday, you know, all that kind of stuff, Black Friday, everything else. They gotta have something in that timeline, and my guess, since they haven't really put out a Final Fantasy announcement or anything, it's going to be Chrono Trigger. That's my guess, unless they drop a Dragon Quest remake or something like that back then, but I'm thinking that Dragon Quest remakes are kind of coming anyway, and I feel like they need something else besides yet another Dragon Quest remake. You know, man cannot live on Dragon Quest remakes alone. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have something else there too. I'm hoping it's going to be Chrono Trigger. Star Ocean also looks alive and well. Just a couple of weeks ago, they put out that survey in Japan, and they were talking about Star Ocean games, what's your favorite, what would you like to see, what would you like to see with remakes, all that kind of stuff, and I'm hoping that, you know, maybe we're going to be getting a Star Ocean 3 remake, or maybe we're going to be getting a brand new Star Ocean entry in Star Ocean 7, or we know that Square loves doing this, and other companies are doing it too, and it's perfectly fine, you know, whatever, more power to you. They're taking these mobile games and they're turning them into console games. And we saw it with Octopath Traveler 0, and they did a great job with it. And we're seeing it also this year with another Eden coming on to console as well. We saw it with Atelier, with Reslariana coming on to console. We're seeing it a lot. So maybe they're going to bring that Star Ocean mobile game, Amnethesis, whatever it is. Maybe they're going to bring that to console as well. We shall see. And you know what? They still own the Heaven and Earth trilogy. They still own the Lufia trilogy too, so maybe they got some surprises up their sleeves. I remember at one point they were talking about how they wanted to go back in their library, their SNES library, and they wanted to bring some of those games out HD 2D. And they were making like a big deal about this, and then all we got was Live Alive, and it's like, okay, where's your other stuff? You know, where's Treasure of the Rudras? Where's Treasure Hunter G? Where's Bahamut Lagoon? Where's, you know, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Maybe we'll see something like that. That would be really cool. But now I want to hear from y'all, what do you think about Square Enix? What do you think they're doing? What do you think we're going to be seeing next from them? And what do you think is going to be their Christmas game this year? What do you think is going to be, you know, what they're going to drop right around October, November, December to, you know, get those sales? I would love to hear from y'all. Let me know in the comments, and as always, have a good day.